All right, so Brady Quinn, a lot of people want to swim in the mud. You know,
Right.
that's not this show.
Yep.
That's not what we do.
Not what we do.
Well, but, not now, though. Not now.
Well, I mean, there's a time and a place. Now is not that time or place.
No, now is not that time or place. And so we've decided, as much as we can sit and talk about the Packers and their decision to do what they did in kicking a field goal, and trust me, we will, because we have several questions also.
Oh, yeah.
We would like to instead take a positive approach, and we would like to celebrate Tom Brady, who, if you were one of those people, one of the last ones on the island of he's not the greatest of all time, you can go ahead and move right along, jump right into the ocean, and wait till you run into the bottom half of Quint.
Where's Rob Parker?
Yeah, wait till the bottom half of Quint.
He's a system quarterback. Give me your best Rob Parker impression.
This is my only thing. It's why I've been saying it. I call him the LOAT. He's the luckiest of all time. Of course, Tom Brady gonna get it. Tom Brady, of course, he threw 3 interceptions in the second half. He had no business winning that game. Shaking my damn head. Yeah. That's Rob Parker.
And I would say to Rob Parker, really? Like, are you really going to live on that island? Are you going to live on that, piece of floating ice where you're floating off into oblivion? Like, I'm sorry. If this year didn't do it for you, I don't know what else would. In a year where the odds were stacked against him at 43 years old, to have to change teams where you really can't practice like you normally do to a new system, new personnel, and have to basically speak a new language when you're out there and play. Winning 3 road games, something they never did in New England, in order to get to an NFC championship. And I'm tired of the whole conversation of, well, the AFC, you had an easier path, right? It used to be the Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, or maybe Ben Roethlisberger. But for the most part, that was pretty much what it was. There weren't too many hurdles. There was Patrick Mahomes there towards the end. In the NFC, I think you'd agree, there's a lot more parity. There's a lot more good teams fighting for that spot. And in 1 year's time, he makes a team, the Tampa Bay Bucks, who aren't even a playoff team, all of a sudden takes them now to a Super Bowl. He is the greatest quarterback of all time. You don't need to say resume anymore. We don't need to see resume. He is the greatest quarterback. He is the greatest player of all time, okay? If anyone wants to dispute that, I'm sorry. In 1 year's time, there is no argument against it. He will be playing in 18% of Super Bowls ever. Ever.
Think about that.
He's almost at 20% of the Super Bowls that have ever been played. He's played in them. This is his 10th Super Bowl. Like,
I know.
Forget the story of, like, if he wins or not. Like, let's say he gets to 7. That's incredible. It's amazing. 10 Super Bowls? Are you serious? Like, people can't even understand. Like, talking before the game, the AFC Championship game, you hear people talk about how the Bills went to 4 straight, didn't win them, but just how difficult that is. Like, that team was a dynasty. And you might try to argue, well, they didn't win it. Try going to 4 straight Super Bowls and finding different ways to lose. Yeah, you're almost more unlucky than anything else.
I totally agree. I think the Bills' 4 straight Super Bowls is one of the most impressive feats in all of sports. And I'm not even being sarcastic or using hyperbole there. I think it's one of the most impressive feats I've ever seen, them going to 4 straight Super Bowls. And I think it's a dynasty. It would be nice if they would have won one, but the fact that they did what they did over and over and over again is that much more impressive. The Tom Brady stuff, I understand we can nitpick and look at some things and say, well, he didn't do this. Let me tell you what he did do. He was part of a team that retired Drew Brees and then less than a week later went to Lambeau Field, the only team with a real home field advantage based on the conditions. And we can try and sit and say, well, it's because of this play. And there's a lot of controversy in this game that we'll dive into later on in the show and throughout the show. Bottom line is, Tampa Bay was the better team all day. All day. I don't care what anybody says. You can try and find whatever little flaw you want and blame an official here and call for this here. Tampa Bay was the better team, and Tom Brady was better than Aaron Rodgers today. Period. And I don't even think it's disputable.
No, it's not. I mean, right from the get-go, too, that was what shocked me. I mean, looking at this game, I really thought of both these games, the game that could be a blowout would have been this one. I thought it would have been Green Bay blowing out the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Totally agree.
I wasn't sure how the defense would play. Wasn't sure that Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians would want to run the football enough to be balanced. And from the get-go, they drove down the field. They ran the football. Tom Brady was perfect on third down, in particular to Evans on the touchdown pass. I mean, it was a great game plan to start off with. They carried that momentum, and their defense was flying around and hitting. And they were, they were thin. Antoine Winfield, the rookie out of Minnesota, has had a great year. He didn't play in this game. They ended up losing Whitehead at 1.2 after he had twice knocked the ball out of Aaron Jones' hands. Once in which they lost. The Packers lost. So it was an all-around great team game. I thought they picked them when they needed to. And we'll get into some of the controversy, but at the end of the day, you're going to see the 3 interceptions. Come on, man. Go back and watch that. Mike Evans needs to catch the one over the middle. That thing should hit off both his fingertips. It wasn't that high. He can make that play. The other one where there was pressure off of the edge, honestly, Leonard Fournette should have known better. He didn't have to run around Tom Brady because they should have had him picked up in the protection. He could have easily just gone to that side and picked up the blitz, and Brady probably would have still taken the shot downfield. But for Mike Evans, as a wide receiver to line up, see a safety down in the box, see press man-to-man coverage, not think, maybe there might be pressure here. Maybe I need to be more aware. Maybe I need to turn and look for the football sooner. To not have any awareness at this point in time in his career, it was just surprising. And so you can watch that throw and you can say, well, it was a bad decision by Tom Brady. No, it wasn't. He's throwing it up to his best wide receiver in one-on-one press man-to-man when he's got extra space because of a cut split. It was exactly what he should have done, and unfortunately, Evans dropped the ball on that one. So, regardless of what those box score readers want to say, he played incredible, and that stuff wasn't on him, even though it made the game closer than it should have been.